Hello, everybody. We're back. I didn't stop going live, but have the right. See, my whole routine is thrown off because I didn't stop the stream. What was I saying? We're back.
You're
We're here.
looking less cave person and more Jesus today.
I showered at lunchtime.
Yeah, I also showered. Like, my boss hit me up at like 3:30, and he was like, "Hey, do you have a minute?" And I'm like, "Sorry, you caught me right as I was like jumping into the shower." And he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, well." Tristan had an interview like first thing this morning, and it really threw off my whole schedule.
I showered over lunchtime basically, and did my hair, as it were. Like, washing your hair when it's long and curly and thick is kind of annoying, frankly. So I spent the time to do that at lunch, and so it looks a little more neat and tame. I completely lost track of everything that I was doing. This is.
I have that effect.
Yes, you do. This is week 8 because YouTube did the thing where it uploaded the wrong title again. So I have two things labeled the same. So therefore, the title of this stream is wrong.
So wait, YouTube did it? Is it YouTube or is it you?
Well, it's my fault, but it's YouTube's fault that it's my fault. That sounds dumb, but bear with me.
It does sound dumb.
When you upload,
I'm gonna Occam's razor this.
When you upload a video to YouTube, you get like a little pop-up window that you can put in the video info while you're like uploading it. Like, you can change the title and the thumbnail, and like you have to press a button that says, "Is this made for kids or not?" Stuff like that. So what I do is I copy paste the title from the last video to the new video in the title box, so I don't have to retype it. That's easy, it turns out. But it doesn't live save changes that you make to the pop-up. You have to wait for like set autosave points for it to actually like save any changes you make. So if you just copy paste stuff over quickly and hit next, it doesn't actually do anything and doesn't save what you put in. So you have to like put the stuff in and sit there and wait and watch for it to like confirm that you've actually changed things, and then press next. And if you press next too fast, it'll just leave the copied title in there instead of whatever you changed it to afterwards.
Fascinating.
So it's
in a
my
way that isn't fascinating at all.
It's my fault, but I blame bad UX. Is that fair?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Tristan would probably be with you on that.
Yeah, it's my fault technically because I could have prevented it, but YouTube could also not have a shitty interface.
Oh man, you want to see some shitty UX? If you ever want to dabble in it, go to Gmail's settings. Like, look at that fucking settings bloat.
It's so bad. I've messed around in there a lot, actually. It's really bad. Okay, so the point of this is that it's week 8, and I need to fix the YouTube title for last week. Good?
I'm drinking a garbage lager that someone left at my house, and I'm extremely upset about it. I'm
upset that somebody left me free beer and I'm drinking it.
It's terrible, though. Also, half of my screen is a black bar.
Then don't drink it. Is that because your wall is black, or because it's actually a black bar?
No, like I can see where my hand just starts disappearing about at nipple height.
It is not tall enough. I see. I will fix that.
It's not actually nipple heights. My nipples aren't that high. I'm normal.
You do not have high nipples. Thanks.
I have average nipples, and I won't hear anything else.
They're located averagely. Okay, shall we do something for real and actually Blood Bowl?
I don't know what you learned. Did you learn that I have normal nipples? Did you learn about Gmail settings? This has been a very informative stream.
Yeah, maybe you learned that I hate YouTube's UX.
Created for children, though.
No. Well, you have to, like, there's specifically a checkbox that you have to check before it lets you hit next that says, like, yes or no for children. Probably because YouTube Kids or whatever. I don't know. There's, like, a separate app that shows only particular curated videos for children. Which I have used, weirdly enough, because it has a lot of Thomas the Tank Engine episodes. Please don't get
started.
This
is a rabbit hole we do not need to engage with.
No. One of my weird obsessions.
Ben loves trains. Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. I love them as a kid, so it's like nostalgic. So to be fair, the old school ones are actually good. The weird, like, animated ones are kind of bullshit and stupid, and like the stories are terrible and designed for 2-year-olds. Whereas at least the other ones are interesting because they're based off the original stories. Damn it! And I'm a Thomas purist apparently. Let's do something else.
No, I think this is the story we were meant to discuss.
Let's look at the game. We're going back to 2A this week because we watched 2 REL 1s in a row. There's certainly some interesting games in REL 1, but we really just didn't want to do it again. We've got to be fair between the two divs. So we're looking at 2 coaches we haven't really looked at before this season. So we're going to watch A Green versus Sir Kodiak. No crazy important matches this week. So we're looking at just sort of a top of the table sort of game. Coach that before this week hadn't been defeated, which is kind of cool in A Green. And it's 2 coaches we hadn't watched before. So it's those are the reasons why we're checking it out. Hello, Unseen Walker. Are we ready to go and stop talking about your nipples and Thomas the Tank Engine?
I'm never ready to stop talking about my nipples, but yes, let's do it anyway.
All right.
Unseen Walker got to watch my game, which was weird. I was always just like one roll away from totally running away with it, and always failed that roll. So
that was a different Chorf coach. There were many Chorf coaches that were playing this week because there are many Chorf coaches.
Really hard to keep track.
Also, the fact that both you and Walker are red is confusing me a little bit in the chat because I just look over and see the colors all the same. Okay, I think we should be in game now. I've sort of lost track of what's happening. Yeah, we are. Are you ready to go?
Hit me. Let's go.
3, 2, 1, go. He was down a bull centaur though, I believe, is what he was down. And we have Hethark, the possibly stoppable, and by that I mean the unstoppable. He has all 6 Chorfs, but was missing a bull centaur. And the bull centaur we've replaced it with Hethark, who's expensive but also very good. I mean, strength 5, break tackle, block, juggernaut is really nice. He's a plus strength bull centaur with block, break tackle, juggernaut. It's kind of how you'd build a bull centaur anyway if you had the option to take plus strength. Maybe not the juggernaut, but at least the other skills. And it's rare when like
is totally fine.
It is. But I mean, a lot of coaches would probably take like mighty blow.
You might want to. I guess we always have this problem where like my face blocks the player cards, but whatever.
I mean, I can just turn off our faces.
I don't know if we need them for replay, so probably.
Yeah.
But also, they don't need to fuck with it live, whatever.
I mean, that's fine. It's very easy to fix. I'm interested in seeing if this works. So I've been having this sort of GPU overload problem, and I think a lot of it is because A, Blood Bowl, B, rendering a scene that is Blood Bowl and 2 separate video feeds, and then C, recording it simultaneously. And I have a new GPU, and I just want to see if I can handle it. So I might just leave it for a few minutes.
Fair.
It looks like it's fine. I don't think we're like framey or anything. I'm not seeing GPU overloaded. It's not resource intensive. It's just very poorly optimized, and it likes to hog graphics card resources. And Windows does that thing where when you focus on a window, it prioritizes that as its like, oh, that's a good start. It prioritizes that window as like its graphics card priority, and then OBS doesn't get enough, and it starts to be a little bit framey on the stream sometimes. It's not because it can't handle it. It's just sort of how the programming all interacts with each other.
It's a little bitchy.
Yeah. But I finally, I bought it in September, and I got it like last week. Got my 3080. I could just move Shadorra next to me. I mean, that would be fine. Why don't we do that?
Move me.
Oh, those are supposed to be locked together, and they are not. So what I should do is lock these windows together so that I can move them all at once. And I have that for my face, or I have them on another scene like that, but we'll just move them one at a time and then be sad when it doesn't look very good. How's that? Your camera's a little tiny bit off, but I don't.
Face.
Me face is off.
Also, Blood Bowl has gone orange.
Yeah, that's because Flux. High production quality things. There we go. There we go. It's fine now. Everything's fine. What I should do is lock those windows together so that I can move them all at once and save time, but oh well. Let's maybe talk about the game a bit.
Maybe, I guess.
Yeah, BME's got it. And then I have Flux set to ignore whatever my full screen ignore Blood Bowl if it's my full screen application. So when I tab out to change screen stuff, it reverts back to orange because it thinks that I'm not focusing on it anymore. Anyway,
that is a wall of players.
It really is. And there's like a nice little separated hobgoblin hanging out there. I'm in danger. Although there isn't really a super free rotter to just foul him, and I don't think you'd foul with anybody else at this point.
No, I mean, fouling a hobgoblin is always dubious anyway. They both have benches, right?
Yeah, there's a really big hobgoblin bench. The only reason why I'd even consider it is that he has dirty player.
But there are several dirty players.
Are there?
Yep,
oh yeah,
there's another one up to the left.
Fouling a rotter, but you know.
I think Sir Kodiak's bench is actually smaller, so
it is.
Does he have a bribe?
No. He has 2 babes, and Hathark, and a wizard. Alright, in comes the pest. We're gonna snipe at. This is sort of how Nurgle roughly aimed to do this matchup, is you just try to snipe at the Chorfs with your like killer Pestigore, basically. If you can remove them, you can snowball really, really fast. But it's going to be difficult to get into the sort of big scrummy fight because they have similar amounts of strength and often more guard. So you tend to use like a Claw Modula Pestigore. That's a fireball. It does something. Ooh.
I don't know about that fireball. And by I don't know about that fireball, I mean I actively hate that fireball.
I don't like it either, but we KO'd it. I mean, it works really well, so... I mean, that was basically an attrition fireball as far as I can tell. Although it worked out...
Of course it was an attrition fireball.
It worked out well in that it knocked over the faster things. So if your plan is to like potato up the left side a bit, it'll be...
Yeah, I mean, it probably won you the drive, but like, I don't think you were in danger of losing the drive at that point. It feels a little premature.
Little premature fireball, premature wizarding. I don't know, there's a joke in there.
There is.
A wizard is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to. Oh, there's a loner Chorf as guard, so that's why there's a full team here. Okay.
Yeah. Zach Ironback.
Zach Ironback. Wow, that's a name.
It's a name and a half. Yeah.
Zach. Man. Speaking of weird zip sounds, YouTube. Okay, long story short, I was watching videos of people playing The Sims 2000 on YouTube, and the power line placing sound effect in that is just literally somebody going bzzzt into a microphone. It's like almost all the other sounds are like actual like construction noises or like car noises or whatever or music, but when you put down power lines, it's just somebody going bzzzt. And like, please look that up now because it's really funny. Like, there's a little bit of effect over it or whatever, but it's very clearly somebody just went bzzzt into a microphone and they recorded it and put it into the game. It's amazing.
That is amazing. Truly.
Like, this is such an influential game, and there's somebody who exists right now who just spoke a word into a microphone and added it to The Sims 2000, and it is
This
now.
is when you're very happy that the ex-wife has block and stand firm. I mean, otherwise this red die would have been a nightmare. Also, the plus movement there meant he didn't have to take a GFI, so Metal feeling vindicated somewhere in the world.
I had a plus movement beast as well, and there were many times where I felt happy about not having to make the GFI to get him on the ball or whatever. He was a very high level beast and just like didn't have guard because he was block, dodge, plus movement. And then he died. Oh, see, this is a pretty good foul, but that didn't work out. Kielbasa.
But also, it's like, what are you going to do here? You're just
Nothing.
leaving your ball?
I mean, I guess. 4 or 5.
He was just like, fuck it.
I mean, we have 5 on 4. Like, we just have a 2-die without doing anything from the Nurgle Warrior.
Yeah, the beast on the ball was something that he couldn't deal with. And,
This lets you get another block with the beast. Oh, I was gonna say you could have pushed him onto the LOS or onto the sideline. I mean, and then just kind of done that annoying surf threat thing. This way lets you get another hit with the beast, but the beast really stupided, and we burned a reroll, failing loner. So that's quite a lucky break for Agrain, I think.
yes.
We're still gonna have to get out.
I mean, I think I would have probably rerolled the Nurgle Warrior hit or pushed him against the sideline. Like,
Yeah,
I think it was a little...
greedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, things are looking a little bit rough for the Nurgle for this drive, but like your team is still okay. And if you can get some damage, like, and you burned the wizard basically. So if you can get through this drive, you know, you burn a wizard, maybe you get another injury on. If you get like an injury on an important player or whatever, even if they score, you're probably still pretty happy with how it turned out. Okay, so we
Certainly could be worse.
Yeah, chain push the hobgoblin away, and he goes to score, not feeling like he can stall, which I think is fair.
That is a good call. I mean, we were almost in a position where Agrain had burned the wizard and lost the ball. I think like most of the time that was the result there. So I think Agrain is happy to have gotten away with that. Such as
Yeah.
he did.
Well, that gives Sir Kodiak the momentum, certainly, on the drive now. We get to do the LOS blocks. There'll be some Calamity Blow hits. And we have a pretty decent number of turns to even it up. If we can get the Chorfs kind of tied up in the middle, it's pretty easy to like run by and then screen off from Bull Centaurs because, you know, they have break tackle, but their weakness is more than one tackle zone.
Yeah, they're more like they're good at cutting corners. They're good at dodging away from one piece. They're not really
Good at breaking through
they're not
screens.
better at this, you know.
No. So, you know, we're gonna aim to slap around whatever we can. If we can take some Chorfs out of the game, that's great. And then we can probably find a hole. We're gonna have to be a little bit aggressive about it. It's 4 turns, it's not 8. So we're definitely gonna have to think about moving forward more quickly than we normally would, but 4 turns is plenty to even this up. Especially with the kickoff return in the Agi Pestigor, like he's saving a bit of movement there, and he also is pretty good at dodging through any sort of defense that ends up getting placed by Agrain. Sometimes when you're in that sort of 3-turn, 4-turn sort of scoring situation as Nurgle, you'll just have to, you know, dodge around or cut a corner or whatever because you just don't have the movement to score otherwise. So he's going to help a lot with that. We also get bunch of hits on hobgoblins. Is he setting up to claw the hobgoblin on the LOS? That's a bit weird. I think it'd be better to use the frenzy one, where like the Nurgle Warrior is, and you could push like double block him with the frenzy mighty blow more towards the center.
I mean, you could theoretically surf him, but that would be a large commitment. I had someone do that to me. LOS surf one of my players.
He could also just be 3-dying with the strength 5. That's true. It depends on what your goal is, I suppose. Like you're most likely to get removals with the mighty blow hit on the LOS, and then mighty blow claw blitzing a Chorf blocker. Ooh, blitz. Which is sort of what I'd aim to do here, I think. Just maximize the removals, given that your opponent has a huge bench and you need help to score this drive. But if that, like, if you're looking at trying to get SPP on the Strength 5, that makes a lot of sense, too. Very slight shift to the left. Slide to the left. Well, there's an injury off a mighty blow. That's a dead hobgoblin.
Yeah, he only wanted 1 DP anyway.
Oh, he's strength 2. I don't think you keep a strength 2 DP. Okay.
Not unless you are, not unless you want for the other one.
Not for science. This man, this Pestigor has not done very well on these chorfs so far. That is the second time he has blitzed a chorf, gotten like a skull push, and then or both down push, pro'd it into either not working or the same thing, and not accomplished anything. Would Gengar keep a strength 2 DP? Well, that's a good question. Would a Robbie keep a strength 2 DP? I mean, the answer there is yes. I don't know if Gengar would. Gengar is not as committed. He's very committed, but not as committed.
He dabbles in the meme.
Robbie is living meme. Although, oh, what? The Gengar's like Khemri team with like the 7 billion DP skeletons is hilarious.
Truly is.
So this is the thing. Okay, so we re-roll the foul appearance. This is the thing that the Nurgle are sort of okay with, but they have to hope it works out well. That's a problem. If the ex-wife wasn't injured, this would be okay. I do not want to become famous.
But you could buy.
Really?
I could.
Subscribe to.
I am not famous anymore. Shia LaBeouf. I'm very aware it's a bot. I'm just trying to ban the bot. The bots have gotten smarter, I guess. They've started adding like weird characters in their like copy pasted things so that filters don't get them always. I was going to say that like this is roughly sort of what Nurgle want here, in that like most of the chorfs are on one side. Then you could kind of punch one of the ones that are off to the other side and run that way and kind of get ahead of the chorf line, as long as you're careful without like where the bull centaurs can't like get after you. That's kind of how you get past the chorfs here. But the beast is a pretty big part of that, and the beast is now injured, so that makes this a bit more awkward. Okay, fair enough. It's hard to interpret sarcastic tones over text. It just felt like I was saying something sarcastically, like, no, I don't want to be famous, and then that wasn't being picked up on. So this is multiple layers of not working very well sarcasm. Sarcasm? I used the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Yeah.
You could speak Japanese where you emphasize nothing. Then you're okay.
I mean, then I would have to learn Japanese for the sole
You just kind of
purpose
say
of not
everything like
emphasizing
really
things.
hushed and like kind of rounded.
What about that Canada show, like Total Drama Island theme song? I'm not sure what you mean.
Not the sort of pop culture that Ben would be familiar with.
Probably.
And also,
not.
no, I think if
Ooh, double skull.
nothing is emphasized,
If nothing is bolded, nothing is bold. Not everything.
yeah, it's not like a local maximum.
I mean, there is a local maximum. It's just the same everywhere, and it's 0. I don't know how to interpret that.
That's the intent.
And then Agrain has definitely done a good job of not get like, so the Nurgle all committed sort of one side. Agrain went back and like punished it, sort of, you know, punched the beast, and then spread back out again, right? This is the nice thing to see. If he stayed on that side, then that's where the Nurgle can take advantage of it. But given that he spread back out again, it makes things really difficult for the Nurgle. And now they're not going to be able to score.
Salami.
Thick salami. I don't know who's salami. One of the Chorfs, but where is salami?
The Chorf blocker who just got fouled and didn't die.
Oh, he is salami.
He just
There he
got
is.
chain pushed out.
I like that the bull is called Bologna.
Casual 2 1-die pals. Nice. You'll love to see it.
Well, removing Chorfs is important for Nurgle, but, so is also scoring. That's also important.
I've heard that winning the game is important.
I mean, if you're me, it's not. At least not this season. Well, the Nurgle cannot score, so we're gonna punch as much stuff as we can, which is probably not a whole lot. And then, vanity pass or whatever.
It's a vanity ass.
I guess.
Steakdorra finally gets a knockdown.
Rand, it's just been a weird day for me, so...
Followed that up, and you... Oh, uh-oh.
What? What is uh-oh?
No.
Okay. Good.
Don't worry your pretty little head about it.
Okay.
It's a good head shake.
Thank you.
Tristan is cooking a ton of Szechuan food out in the kitchen right now, and it is slaying me. I am sloon. I would like that nummy pepper goodness on my tongue.
Yeah, see, I have a weird relationship with Szechuan foods. Like, on the one hand, it smells amazing, and whenever I see it, all I want to do is eat it, but I really don't like the numb feeling. So, like, it's
Have you considered not being a little bitch?
I like spicy food. Spicy food is great.
No, it's not spicy. It legitimately is numbing.
Yeah, I don't know. I know. I'm going into that. I love spicy food. Like, that's not really the problem, but like the just weird numb feeling you get is just odd, and I don't like it very much.
Like a really spicy mapo tofu. Or
yeah, like I love mapo tofu, but like 2 bites of it, right? Like I can't eat it because I don't really like the weird mouthfeel, but I love the flavor. So I have this like, yes, this is great, but I don't want to order it. I want to steal like 1 off your plate,
She's also making kung pao chicken, which is definitely like westernized garbage Szechuan food, but is also one of my favorite things. So.
Yeah, and like that, like the westernized stuff is fine. Like it's literally just the weird numb mouth feel.
Szechuan peppers. Yes.
Yeah, I don't like those very much. And it's not because of the flavor; it's just the weird mouth thing.
Yeah,
Maybe it's because I haven't had it very much, and I'm not terribly used to it. But it also is one of those things that I don't really want to get used to because it's unpleasant.
Is Kodiak in the stream?
I don't know.
I think he's not. Okay, so one of the biggest critiques I have with Sir Kodiak's gameplay is that he's real. My boss is calling me. That's gonna have to go to voicemail. Is that he's being a little pussyfooted about piling on. I think there have been lots of instances where you could tie up most if not all the hobgoblins in range, and then you could pile on. And
He doesn't have piling on.
Wait, no?
He doesn't have a player with piling on.
Never mind. Ignore everything I said. I'm a moron.
It's like, what do you do? What are you talking about?
I'm just being fucking dumb. Don't worry about it. I just assumed that a player with that many skills was a Pestigore.
He needs to pile on more. Like, with what?
I mean, I stand by the statement, even if it is technically false. It's impossible.
I mean, a lot of people would have had piling on instead of Juggernaut here.
Yeah, for sure. Especially pro instead of piling on. Like, I think he's just not a fan of piling on, but I'm sorry. I'm deeply pleased by that. That was really entertaining for me.
I had fun. I hope you had fun.
Yeah, that's exactly where we're at right now.
Look at those hobgoblin dodges. Elf screen, go. All right, time for like the 7 millionth block on a chore for this guy. Hey, we knocked him down. I think that's the fourth block specifically on the that one Chorf pepperoni, and it has never done anything.
I mean, I think that's the third Calamity Blow hit in a row on Chorf blockers that didn't break armor.
This Pestigore in particular has hit that blocker in particular at least 3 times.
He's been hitting that one, and he's been hitting the loner, and he hasn't broken any of their armor. He hasn't broken their armor yet. Like, real straightforwardly.
On a Nurgle team, I would agree with you. On other teams, maybe different. On a Chaos team, you could probably get away with more.
I mean, yeah, I think that the correct amount of piling on varies wildly and is often more than one. Like orcs, you want more than one piling on. Probably 2 to 3.
Dwarves,
Chaos,
you can
2 to
have
3,
2, 3.
Dwarves, many for dwarves.
Nurgle 1, I don't really, unless you happen to have 2 killers because you're trying to replace one. Like, I can understand why someone would have 2, but if I could build like a 2000 TV Nurgle team from scratch, I would have 1. Turns out Calamity Blow piling on is just really, really good. And like that's kind of hard to get around. Hey, we break armor when the hobgoblins fail dodges. This is not looking great for Kodiak. Like the Igraine is being pretty passive, staying back and kind of just getting in the way, which is working well because these Pestigores aren't doing anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if we were getting a Chorf removed every turn, this would start to look bad for Igraine really fast. But given the removal dice that we've had so far, he's definitely playing this right. And he's just getting in the way. He's making it so that the Nurgle are basically going to have to try to potato to score at some point, and then you have 2 break tackle bull centaurs. It's going to be hard for the Nurgle to break through in a safe way, given the sort of screen we have going here.
Yeah, I agree.
And we'll just back off a little bit. We'll blitz a guy. Shows why Igraine has been doing so well this season. Like, just solid play.
Yeah, I mean, I like his defense a lot more than I like his offense.
That's true.
He does like throwing 1 dice. Oh no, that's a 2 die. I forgot
That is a
not
2
the
die.
strength of Nurgle Warrior.
You are real good at skills today.
I had a weird day, and I think
So
it
did
has
I.
utterly removed my ability to think.
So did I. Man, I am looking forward to next week so much.
What's next week? You got it off?
No, American Thanksgiving. Most of my coworkers are American. I get like 4 days in a row with no one to bother me because they'll all be on vacation and I can get stuff done. Like, that's going to feel great. Like, I'm happy. I'm excited for other people to be on vacation so they stop bothering me. is what is.
Yikes, man. But yeah, I mean, I get it.
I mean, I'm gonna drop from like an hour plus long meeting every day to like 1 15-minute meeting. Like, it's gonna be so good for actually getting stuff done. Plus, I do have Monday off, so that's nice.
I have Friday off because Hyrule Warriors is coming out, which I'm not like. It's like mostly whatever, but my friend is gonna come over Thursday night and stay over, and then Tristan, Alex, and I are all just gonna like hang out and like play couch co-op games all day and have kind of almost like a snow day kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
we're all looking for like reasons to be happy mostly in this quarantine life.
Snow days are great.
Snow days are a thing that only Canadians and Northern Americans will understand, but the joy the joy of realizing that schools are closed
It's
on like a Monday morning. It's like Christmas, but one you didn't expect.
I'm sure a lot of people sort of get the feeling, but you kind of have to explain in the right way. I think it's like if you ever have like plans for a day and then like I have a bunch of appointments and then like they call you and cancel them, so it's not your fault, but suddenly all your plans are gone and now you have nothing to do, like that sort of feeling is great.
Yeah, but also you're a child, so your like dopamine production is at like unparalleled levels.
Yeah. No, it's not like the fact that the Americans in particular are gone. It's just that all the Americans I work with are on vacation, which means that most of the people that I work with will not be around. And it's not because I don't like them. It's just makes it so much easier for me to get stuff done, like work done, when I can just have
Louis,
uninterrupted time.
I even remember like listening to the radio for them, and I'm not even that old. It's just that Nova Scotia is 20 years in the past.
That's true.
And you'd just be like praying because like they would redo it every time there was a new school, and you're just hoping your school has been added to the list.
Yep. Man, the worst ones though were the one I can remember, some very distinct ones where we got to school and then they canceled it, like while we were there, and that was really annoying.
That's not
They did that once because the pipes, it was so cold out, it was like minus 30. This was in junior high, so we weren't at the same school at this time, but it was like one of those stupid cold like February days, and I'm not even joking, like one of the coldest that we've had in a long time. It was like, you know, minus 25, something dumb, and the pipes froze in the gym and they just blew up and flooded, and they're like, well, we can't have people at school, everyone go home. And then they sent us outside to wait for the buses to come back. I'm like, it's so cold, the pipes blew up, and then you just told us to go outside and stay there. Like,
Well,
what the fuck?
Like, I mean, that happens in Nova Scotia too, because it doesn't actually snow that much there because the ocean keeps things pretty like temperate.
Yeah.
But when it does snow, it's a city that's like it's a horribly designed city, and the weather is super messy and wet all the time, and they don't have a lot of snow removal infrastructure. So sometimes they do like cancel school because it might snow. That's happened a couple of times. But here in Montreal, it's like, well, it's only 20 centimeters, so get your shit together, we're going to school. Like,
they would do that. Well, the other thing is they didn't cancel school specifically that often, but they canceled the buses very frequently.
Yeah, that's true. Like, because we went to like a pretty rural school,
and I think that's true for a lot of like Nova Scotia. Like, other than like Halifax, pretty much everywhere is rural and needs to be bussed in. So they would cancel buses a lot if the roads weren't great, not necessarily the schools. And because everybody was rural and needed to be bussed in, that meant a lot more snow days than there probably would be elsewhere.
Yeah. Oh, we had like a couple a year. Like, if it was 10 to 15 centimeters, you would expect schools to be canceled.
And not necessarily schools, but like buses, which was generally enough for most people. For most people, yeah. Not everybody had parents that could like drive them there or whatever, or were willing to in the snow. And yeah, like there's definitely snow removal equipment, but not like whenever it snows a ton, like so much that they need to use like the big highway snow plows like everywhere, we have to borrow stuff from New Brunswick.
Yeah. I remember during White Juan, which was named White Juan because we had a hurricane that hit us called Juan.
Yeah, Hurricane Juan.
Like 2002 or something like that.
Junior high sometime, yeah, 2002, 2003.
And then that winter we had what was called White Juan, which we got a meter plus of snow in like 12 hours. And I had pneumonia, so I didn't have to shovel, which was glorious. But I watched a snowplow get stuck on my street. It couldn't move anymore on the street. It got stuck in snow, and then another snowplow came from behind and rammed it to get it out, which was pretty entertaining.
I remember, man, that was so much fun. It was weird.
Failed catch, rerolled, failed catch, bounced to a rodder, bounced back to the player that was trying to catch it and caught it. That just happened was pretty entertaining, and we should acknowledge that. But
it was. I'm just thinking about now. I remember going outside during it because, you know, junior high, you know, 13, 12-year-olds, something like that. All I wanted to do was play in the snow. So I went outside and I started like digging tunnels and making forts, like, you know, as kids would do. You'd find like an embankment of snow and then dig through it. So you had like a tunnel or whatever. So I went and I did that, and then I went inside to get like a drink and warm up for a bit or whatever. And in the like 15 minutes that I was inside, it had snowed so much that my tunnel filled in again. Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, no, Montreal, like you'll be in downtown Montreal, like a city of 4 million people, and a plow will go by with like 2 dump trucks behind it, and all the plows do like
they're giant snow blowers. Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's like very organized and very structured, and people still complain about how fucked the snow removal is, and it's like a big deal every year.
We do have that here, but they only do it in certain places, mostly like in the city, because you can't just push it off to the side. Whereas most of Nova Scotia is super rural, and they just shove the snow into the ditch, and they're like, whatever, it'll melt. Like in the city, you can't really do that as well, because people get mad when you cover their cars in 2 feet of snow. But the weirdest part about White One for us was that was during the time. So the house that I grew up in didn't really have a basement. It was like a super old like farmhouse, so the foundation was just rocks that it was piled up on top of. There wasn't actually a basement. So we were renovating it to put a real basement in, like pour a foundation. So the house was jacked up and on stilts, like on piled up like railway ties during White One. So the floor was disconnected from the ground. Like you could look between the floorboards and see the ground. It also meant that our furnace was disconnected, because that would have been down like in the pile of rocks. Like it was like a crawl space basically, and the furnace was down there. So that's disconnected. So we had electric heaters plugged all over the house, and then the power went out for 3 days. So our house was up on stilts with snow coming up through the floor with no heat. It was the only place. Yeah, the only place you could be in the house and not be ludicrously uncomfortable was directly next to the wood stove. It was a bit of a nightmare. That's a damage that we just saw. That is the really good ball carrier, just badly hurt, but that's going to be like most of that's really difficult. I mean, that's true, but that's kind of how you accomplish things if you're going
Fouling
to.
with a Thark. The strength makes him better at fouling. Nothing.
Get the ball. No. I mean, that's just like basically a really well played defense by Agrain is kind of what we saw there.
I feel like maybe Sarkodia could have put on more pressure.
I think that's probably fair. Yeah, the offense was a little bit weird from Agrain.
He definitely could have piled on more.
Yeah. And I think Sarkodiak's like 4-turn could have been probably executed a bit differently, but the way he had set up kind of relied on the beast still being there, and then the beast got injured, and it like his whole setup collapsed really quickly. If that beast didn't get injured, that might not have happened, but we also probably could have done something to make it so there wasn't such a key linchpin, you know? But there you go, 1-0 to Agrain, keeping the undefeated streak.
He's one of the undefeated coaches. Who knows who else is on that list? But
I don't know.
Yeah, losers mostly.
Yeah, by definition, they're not. Let's close out Blood Bowl and bring up the.
Let's go back to Div 1.
So this is why I had our faces the way they were, because now you block the. Maybe
you should have different screens for different things.
I mean, I should. You're not really in the way. It's fine, right? Like, you're not. What happens when I click on a match result? It blocks player names, but those are just player names. It's fine. We'll leave it. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Stop questioning me. So first we had Holing and Bogue Bombers. The Ordinary Elves.
We did say the humans might have this one, and boy howdy.
Yeah. I mean, it's the elves. There are a lot of elves that got. Or sorry, the elves get a lot of inducements, is what I mean. There are a lot of loners.
Yeah, you might want to fix that.
Am I?
You are. I'm looking at your stream. You are orange.
Oh, okay. Daylight savings times and flux. Okay, give me a moment. I'm gonna put up my away screen briefly so I don't like display my desktop to everybody, and I'm just gonna go close flux.
All right. Well, you do that. I'm gonna dox you in the comments.
Yeah, sure. Go for it. I mean, I'm not exactly difficult to find.
It's true.
If
I mean, I do like that your old scream name was just an anagram of your legal name.
Mm-hmm.
Though I guess not technically, because your legal name is a bit different.
It is.
I know the real name.
There we go.
You're welcome. Stacy, we do this for you.
That should be better, but now your face is weird. There we go.
And the Bogue Bombers.
That's better. I mean, I'm not to like. There's not very many steak mittens on the internet. If you Google that, you find everything that's basically me. Like, it's not terribly difficult to figure out things.
I don't know if it's associated with my real name most of the time, though all the REBBL admins know it because I'm too lazy to make another Google account. I actually have another Google account for the admins, I just never use it.
That's why I'm also easy to find too. Like, I haven't changed mine either for things. But let's talk about this. To be fair, with enough effort, pretty much everybody is not terribly difficult to find.
No, I think Tristan's brother, who like has a 20-character hexadecimal based password to his Wi-Fi that changes every day, probably can't be doxxed. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that Travis is not doxable.
Oh, my password stuff is great. Like, I
meant that more as like representative of his overall like OPSEC kind of.
Oh, I see.
The man is moderately paranoid and probably with good reason.
The vast majority of people exist on the internet in some way that is relatively easy to find. Anyway, ordinary elves and Bogue Bombers. Yeah, the humans, we thought they had a pretty good chance in this, despite the elves getting so much in terms of inducements, because the humans could sort of deal with the inducements. They often can against elves, or they've got a lot of Mighty Blow and Tackle and that sort of thing. And they did manage to win 2-0. They killed Doesn't Matter, Gonna Die Soon, which I guess is the most accurately named catcher I've ever seen, given that he was new for this game and then died.
I mean, he's only really cursing himself there. I don't really know. Oh, actually, I know alphanumeric and hexadecimal are tied together for me because of reboot.
The user inputs games. Reboot.
Alphanumeric. Anyway, we're getting real Canadian today.
Oh god, yeah. Glorfindel Forever, the word answer, leveled up with the MVP and a completed pass. And we had a rookie lineman level up, which is the only lineman that's actually on the team. So that's pretty useful. With a completed pass as well. All the other ones were loners.
Dodge, I imagine. Let's see.
Yeah, and what does the word answer get? Word answer gets Sure Feet.
Sure Feet, yeah. Because he's the kind of ball carrying.
Yeah.
Not one turning one, because that's probably the catcher, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bogue Bombers, no levels there. We do take a badly hurt on Biff Rooney, but that's about it. 2 Kaz coming in from Blitzers. Intercept, actually, from Jack Splat, which maybe explains why it's 2-0 instead of 2-1 or 1-0. And then 2 TDs from the catchers. And that'll be 2-0 for the Bogue Bombers. Cullen and Locust, the Wrath of Nuffle versus the All-Stars of Chaos. A big punchy game here.
One team punching.
Yeah, I mean, it's two teams designed to do...
Wrath of Nuffle won.
Yeah. It's 2 teams very much designed to kill you. One of them got killed, but also won, which is kind of interesting. 8 armor breaks to 23 is quite a difference there. All-Stars of Chaos got 54 blocks to 32.
Damage differential? No, I mean, it's pretty big. 4 removals for Wrath of Nuffle. 9.
10?
Locust.
6 Kaz and 4 KOs sustained.
Well, sustained, yeah, it's 4 to 6. Or 4 to 10, I should say.
Yeah, which is a little bit nuts. So somehow Cullen won anyway. If those came late, that could be it. Like, if a lot of those were late in the game.
Yeah, I think I read something in chat on Discord about Cullen getting a bit lucky, perhaps, in some of the things.
No, that's fair. I mean, sometimes it happens. It is Blood Bowl. Man, every time I read Cullen, my cousin's 1-year-old son is named Cullen, and I can't stop thinking about my nephew once removed.
What is it referencing? Is it a Twilight reference?
I don't know. But that's the child's name. So when I see his coach name, I associate it with the child. I'm like, you're too young for Blood Bowl.
Locust was too bloodthirsty.
Well, that describes exactly what Locust is. I mean, I think we talked about that last week. Both teams are very good, are designed to remove you. Locust often focuses really hard on the removals, which may be his downfall depending on how they go. And they did go very much in his favor, but maybe he focused too hard on it, right?
I think my favorite thing, my favorite exchange I've seen on the Discord this season has been in Div 1 about when Locust was talking. Locust came in when Lumi was throwing shade at Div 1 coaches for like giving up, and was just like talked about like just dicing good coaches to win, and like everyone thought he was being sarcastic and like throwing shade at Lumi, and immediately started dogpiling on Locust, and the Locust was like, no, I'm a shitter. What are you talking? Like I diced Lumi into the ground, and everyone's like, all right, cool. Like,
We're good. We're good then.
Was like, you better believe it, and then like.
Locust focuses very hard on removals, but he is very self-aware about it. You know.
No, it was a really good exchange.
He's very self-aware about it, which is great. It's all good fun.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, then we had Skirgle and Bullcanoe, Stacy and Mongoose is loose. This is interesting. We thought the big Nurgle team would probably have the advantage here, though it's kind of really hard to pick. It depends on who gets the damage rolling first. But, you know, we picked something sort of based on averages, and it looked like it didn't work out this time. Bullcanoe just getting 20 armor breaks to 13. So the armor breaks going that way.
Only 10k in winnings. Did you roll a 1 into a 1? Or like a 2 into a 1 or something, Mongoose? You've only got 70k, so you can't buy a new block. Oh, no, you can. Blockers are 70k. Oh, you've already bought one.
This game was about who could fail more. Both teams failing at each other, it looks like. 7 KOs and 2 Kaz suffered for Skirgle. 4 KOs and 2 Kaz suffered for Mongoose. One of them is a dead blocker, which is annoying, but at least it's a rookie. MNG Bull Centaur is not irrelevant. Oh god, I had a 42. I had like 50 something percent GFIs in an Imperium game I played recently, where the sponsor was you get more points for rolling more, succeeding more GFIs. So that wasn't like 50% of 4 GFIs. That was like 50% of 30 GFIs. Like it was a bit of a nightmare. Oh man. 42% GFIs for Stacy, and Mongoose had 8 dub skulls in the first 4 turns. So.
Nice.
2 teams failing at each other and seeing who could fail the hardest, seems. Pass and an intercept for Alphabet Row is kind of funny. MVP for a Beast of Nurgle, which is nice.
Is it? Not really. That Beast of Nurgle's done.
No, he wants block, but I mean, you got to roll doubles, I suppose.
1 in 6 times, it works every time. So not the expected result, but it seems like it was a fucking weird game. So, someone actually told us to watch. Oh, right, well, we couldn't watch it because it's different.
We didn't. Yeah, this was a game that we were thinking about watching because it was mentioned, but we didn't want to watch a third Div 1 game in a row, basically. Otherwise, it would have probably been the choice.
Hey, Lumi beat a kill team.
Patch's Torah, the rotter that we stole from the rats, got MNG'd, sadly. No levels for the Chorfs either, but the Chorfs take that one 2-1. Lumi and Keasubalu. This is one of the one I didn't actually watch this one. Sometimes I catch Lumi games because they're interesting.
Every time you watch a Lumi game, he runs out of players. So I think you're officially
a curse.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably fair. 2-0. Let's see.
I like that you were like, I don't know if someone would take Juggernaut on Hathark, but you didn't talk about the fact that he has thick skull.
I forgot that was a thing that he came with.
Yeah, I mean, I would also expect the game to go exactly like this if you didn't remove the shit out of Lumi. Which you actually kind of did. You guys removed the shit out of each other.
8 KOs and 3 Kaz. 3 KOs and 0 Kaz. I mean, that's a lot of KOs suffered by Luminous.
A lot of dongs going off.
Yeah. There sure were a whole lot of dongs in this game.
You're welcome.
Oh my god. You are a horrible person.
Like, I'm just here for the meat slaps and the dong shows, okay?
All right. Okay. So 2 touchdowns from G Dumpling, 7 SPP. Probably not legend this season, but it's possible. Maybe playoffs. We'll probably see it from Dimil some first. But the finally Mighty Blow Vampire got MVP, but also no Kaz. So, you know, Mighty Blow not doing anything.
I suspect he got a lot of KOs, though.
It seems that way. Badly hurt. MNG from one of the vampires is a bit annoying, but it could. I think there are worse vampires to be MNG'd. and maybe
One of the good ones. It's fine, I guess. I
It's-
think you'd prefer if Dumpling was out, honestly, but
TV saving for the next match. It's all strategy. Don't worry about it.
he's a little beyond TV saving at this point.
As for this is 2 Chorf games so Hethark was induced in 2 separate games. Chaos Subaru also inducing Hethark. Let's see. Applejack and Rarity doing the Kaz. The one pass coming out of a Hobgoblin, but no real touchdowns. Hethark eating the MVP, which is super annoying because there's a lot of players that would love an MVP. Unfortunately, but that's the way it is. So Lumi says that first half around 5 players left on the pitch and somehow managed to steal the ball and score from end zone to end zone. Wow.
Sounds entertaining.
Seems, yeah. Somehow I'm not surprised, frankly, but vampires can do some silly things as long as the few players that are left are vampires, and given the number of KOs, there should be few players on the field at some point.
Vampires are always a couple of 3 and 4 pluses from your ball.
Yeah, and it can be pretty difficult to stop that when most of your team is movement 4 with the blockers.
And then in truly shocking news, Unseen Walkers won again.
Hooray! I knew you could do it.
Except we both voted against him, so...
Did we?
Yes.
I could have sworn I voted for him. I guess I didn't. Why didn't I do that?
Because we were both we feel like this is a toss-up, but we feel like it's most likely a tie or the Rats win.
Well, it was the curse. So as soon as I stopped predicting you won, right? So there you go. You can thank me for that one. It's my fault. 2-1 for Ragedorf over the Rats. The Rats would have had a boatload of inducements. They got Glart, they got Hackflem, and then probably I would imagine Wizard.
And it's hard to vote against Rats with Wizards and One-Turners, especially against...
it really is.
If they get any value out of those inducements, the Dwarves just auto lose.
Well, the Dwarves got 49 blocks, 20 armor breaks that turned into 9 KOs and 2 Kaz, which is a pretty big deal. One of those being on Hackflem, which is nice because it's just one of the gutter runners out. Yeah, so it would have been a bit easier to hit the gutter runners potentially because we, got through some of the players, a lot of KOs. The touchdowns, or where the only Kaz that came from a player was Furiousdorf, which is not unsurprising, I guess. Both touchdowns from the really good speedy runner. The Rats had a completed pass from Precast Oath and an MVP to level. It's almost as if you knew the MVP was coming. Just grab that vanity pass. Javi Clementine has followed. Welcome along. The KO dwarfs are back, and the touchdown coming from Tortapatches.
Or Clemente and not Clementine, but I like that you just finished that.
Fair enough, whatever.
Or is your thing cutting it off? I don't actually know which it is.
I just see Clemente, so I probably said it wrong.
Any hoozle. Voltaire's
the-
Vanguard and Dreams of Golden Streams. We wanted to watch this one. Sort of.
I mean, kind of. I mean, I just want to see that many touchdowns, really.
Yeah, 5-4 is just spicy. And also...
Look at all the numbers. The cams were swapped? Were they?
I don't know what that means.
They don't look swapped.
No, I think that's exactly how they've always been. I think Stacey was high.
Oh, no, the cams were side by side, and then because the stream crashed without me saving it, they went back to on top of each other.
I still think Stacey's probably high, though.
I mean, who knows? That's a question that only Stacey can answer. 5-4 for the elves. 46, so a 5-4 game is 9 touchdowns. So 9 of 16 turns involved someone scoring. Yet there were still 46 blocks for one team and 38 for the other, which seems like a lot for a 5-4 game.
You get line blocks. So
true.
More touchdowns often lead to more blocks, especially in agi matchups where you're obligated to give away 3 on the LOS.
That's very true. I didn't think about that, but you're right. 11 armor breaks to 10 armor breaks, 3 KOs, 2 Kaz versus 4 Kaz. And just, man, so many so many touchdowns. Blitzer touchdown, 3 completed passes from the thrower, 3 touchdowns from one of the catchers. Catcher got a Kaz, another catcher got a touchdown, another Kaz from that catcher, 2 completed passes from the Agi catcher, a completed pass from the lineman who got armor busted. He's wrestle, so that's probably fine. MVP went to the guard blodge lineman. Penny Pax has picked up a level with a Kaz and a TD.
Will Fed get another claw player destined to die? No, just another mighty blow.
3 touchdowns from the one turner. Can't tell you if they're all one turners or not, or one turns or not, but they did come from the one turner. The only injury is a badly hurt on a line rat. MVP on a rookie sucks, but what can you do? Okay, so Superfed confirming that they were not one turns, but they were scored on the one turner. Can't tell that without going into the game, unfortunately. It's just a lot of stuff happened here. Oh man, 5-4. Superfed saying that sweltering heat from turn 1 was a thing. So most coach like sweltering heat on turn 1 and then high scoring means a lot of players not on the field a lot of the time.
A lot of weirdness, a lot of
varying degrees of strange, varying drives,
And then in a less surprising result, Stouticus beat up on Barbecue Gamer's team that was missing 2 blockers.
This was going to be a big uphill one for Barbecue Gamer. I mean, big Nurgle team while missing a bunch of blockers. Going to be a hard one to win, so not too surprised here. We did level a Nurgle Warrior, so that's going to be either tackle or stand firm, depending on what we want. Or if you got skills.
MNG'd, so we'll be down at least another developed blocker for next week.
Hasn't taken the level yet, but the sort of standard Nurgle progression is either tackle or stand firm there. So that's likely what we'll see.
Full suite of stand firm warriors. I think it's fun.
It is, and you don't really the tackle is only there basically to make it easier to punch stuff, not to actually do tackle things. It's just when you're at that TV, a lot of people have dodge, and it's nice to get more reliable claw mighty blow hits. Is really all it's for. Which is why it's either skill 6 or 7 or whatever.
On Black Vignettes is pretty... Because he's replacing the other Black Vignettes, really?
I don't know.
Let me check. This team has lost so many stars.
I was counting my previous players the other day on stream. I have over 7. I have over 70 players that used to be on my team and have been removed for one reason or another. I think it's 38 have been deaths. I've had just 38 players die to be removed from my team, which is a little nuts. Anyway, yes, that's that level. The MVP goes to a Pestigore. It's the rookie Pestigore, so that's actually really nice because it's a good boost to start leveling. It can be a little bit scary to try to ball carry or block with a totally rookie Pestigore when your team is 2000 TV and everybody else has skills. So that's a really nice, good starting boost for that Pestigore.
Stouticus has lost 62 by the looks of it.
Not all of them are decay. To be fair, a lot of them are, but not all of them are. It's 10 or 11 separate Nurgle warriors that have died, which is a lot. Then the injuries for our Barbecue's pit crew, just badly hurts. There's one MNG blocker, which is annoying because we're still not going to have a full set of blockers for next week, but it's better than missing 2. Now we're only missing 1. Oof. Both touchdowns coming from the ball carrier, which makes a lot of sense. Could still use another chance at getting Agi or fake Agi skills at least. Outsouffled is pretty much done. More skills isn't bad, but you don't need them. The only other choice I think would be tart shaped box or Heaven beside tiramisu, and sometimes it can be hard to get those touchdowns. You just kind of take them where they're available sometimes as Nurgle. Okay, so those matches leave our leaderboard looking something like this. We have
Gold in the lead.
Yeah, well, Ramaset was very close to Superfed. They were both, I think it was that was a really important game because they were similar in near the top of the table. So it's like a big swing between those two coaches. So Ramaset, yeah, taking it undefeated, one of the undefeated coaches in REL so far. Mongoose is another one in REL 1. 5-2-0, 4-3-0. Ramaset probably pretty likely to go to playoffs at this point. Be hard for that to not happen. The other spots could be taken over. We have Cullen at 11 points, could jump in over Superfed Holding or Mongoose potentially. Be a bit harder for Luminous to jump over those people, but Luminous and B-Dog are still one win within fourth of Superfed right now. So those 9, that's only one game swing that could put Luminous or B-Dog in there as well. It's going to be a bit harder going down the table. I don't think we'll see Barbecue Gamer or Locust in the playoffs this season. So shall we look at this week? Ooh, there's another game. Superfed and Holding. A lot of interesting Superfed games right in a row between Uber and Ramaset.
I wonder if we
B-Dog.
pulled the stats out, we'd find that Fed is better against Bash coaches.
I would not be
But
surprised.
also, I wonder how much Skaven skew that way. I think Skaven can struggle with agi matchups.
Yeah, just because like they're not really agi, they're speed, right? And Bash teams don't like speed, and agi matchups can kind of get in the way of that. Like they can get in the way of players, and only a few of the Skaven are actually agi, right? Most of them are agi 3, so they don't really have that reliable like.
They also just rely on just being able to physically get away.
Yeah. They don't often have that. They don't have the option to like dodge players out and put them in the way of the elves or whatever, like the elves can to them, because agi 3 versus agi 4 is a
Off the
difference.
ball free and you try to run to space. Like space is not really a thing versus the elves.
Yeah.
You can score or the elves catch up to you. There's no, and like screening, yeah, like you said, screening just doesn't really do as much.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a reason why
I think like teams like humans and Necro are some of the worst. Other matches I fear the most as rats for sure.
I think there's a reason why if you look at like the past games of like some of the top rat teams, you'll see stuff like 2-0 wins or 2-1 wins versus Bash teams, and then you'll see stuff like 5-4 losses versus elves, right? Like you can run to space and then just stall because you're physically too far away against Bash teams, and against elves you can't really do that, and it's hard to be safe. So like you said, you kind of just have to score, and then you end up in a weird shootout. Anyway, so Superfed is down again. This is so weird. The ordinary elves have 5 or 6 players, and they're giving up inducements. Or 5 players, and they are giving up inducements to the rats. Not a whole lot, to be fair. It's 60k, but they are giving up inducements. That's what elves with 5 players. So it's the Wood Elves don't get anything to back up their team, which they're kind of used to at this point,
and
right?
Ed's race detail page says that he is worst. He's the worst against high elves and vampires. And then maybe like Necro. And
so you're saying Ramaset and Luminous are the coaches that Superfed is? I don't think that's a race thing. That might be a coach thing.
No, the high elves, there's a couple of other options, but yeah, the vampires are probably.
I think that's more of a coach thing, potentially. Does Superfed have a stadium back? Yeah, he does. So star players cost 50k less, and we're at home for Superfed. So we get to use that stadium. So we have 60k, and we can use that to get up to a 110k star player if we want to, which is a bench. Something like a Babe is not really going to accomplish much here, and I don't think you would scum for a wizard with like 90k of your 110k. Like I don't think that's something I would do.
Probably not. It's also it's lower value against elves.
Yeah, so there's going to be I would imagine you get Fez Glitch for 50k is a thing. That's really the only cheap star player you can get. But the foul appearance is not or the disturbing presence is not irrelevant there.
Fez Glitch the ball and chain.
Yeah, it's not like the greatest choice, but it's also the cheapest star player.
But they're pretty worthless against elves.
Yeah, but it's also I think the only star player you can actually afford with 60k in his stadium is what I'm without spending money is the only thing I'm saying. Anyway, So, I mean, rats without inducements, elves without inducements, both teams sort of playing with the set of star players and like rounding out to loners. Technically wood elf loners are better than rat loners, but I think the rats that are available are probably better than the elves that are available. In terms of being able to do things like that, tree is pretty much irrelevant in this game. He's going to get like one block on an LOS against a line rat, and then he's never going to do anything else for the rest of the game. So it's kind of like, do you think the 2 War Dancers and the Catcher can beat the 2 Blitzers and 3 Gutter Runners?
You could go Skitter. He's only 110, but that's still like 50k of your money.
It's another Gutter Runner. It's also a stab, which is not irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. Especially because Fed doesn't really care about buying. Like, he's never going to have a bench again.
No.
It's just not a thing. So
I think I want to take Super Fed here. I know we just talked about how Agi matches are a bit weird, but it's like that low player count elves versus low player count Skaven thing, and I just think of the low players that exist, the rat ones are more useful. And they're pretty much even, quote, everywhere else, given that they're both just going up to 11 players. There's no inducements really in play, right? It's like, are the 2 War Dancers and the Strength 1 Catcher better than the 3 Gutter Runners and the 2 Blitz Rats?
tough.
Yeah, I mean, it could potentially go either way very easily, but I think I'm gonna take the rats. How about you? Are you gonna respond?
I'm thinking.
Okay. I just sort of hope that you would think out loud, because this is a content generation show.
That's just or garbage content. I will tentatively take the rats as well, but I feel like it.
So speaking of rats with inducements, Barbecue Gamer versus Uber the Uber. This is actually interesting. Barbecue missing a Chorf again. A little bit less relevant than it would be against other bash matchups. Like it's technically saving you a wizard. I mean, he's still going to get a wizard, but a wizard's worth of inducements. And the blockers aren't the most useful, other than sort of the mighty blow hit on the LOS, which is not irrelevant, obviously. But I think my point is there are worse matches to be missing a blocker in. But the Skaven are still going to get 720k. They do have a 1-turner, so it's, these are so hard to predict, because it's just like there isn't a team to investigate. It's like, well, it depends on what you buy with 700k of inducements, and without knowing what the plan is, it's kind of hard to choose. But a wizard is on the table. We're definitely going to be getting some star players to try to both be star players and increase our bench a bit, because we're going to want to bench against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mighty blow and a dirty player, 2 dirty player, 3 dirty player. I can count.
I think I still want to give this to Barbecue. Maybe. I haven't watched him play. So there's a lot of inducements. The defense is going to basically be, does the wizard do a thing for the rats? Right? They are not taking the ball from a cage of chorfs with 4 guard on corners. Like, it's not easy. We do have sure hands, so like even if we induced like a strip ball gutter runner or something, it's not really going to be that useful. So the defense is going to be, does the wizard do a thing? The offense, I think the chorfs are going to have a hard time stopping the rats. So I think it's going to be how grindy can the chorfs make it on their offense, right? Since the rats can't really take it from you, how many rats can you kill? And if the answer is enough, then you probably win. If the answer isn't enough, then I don't think you do. Pulled pork is very useful. I don't know. Let's do our cheat and look at the leaderboard briefly. Barbecue near the bottom, and so is Uber. So it's kind of hard to choose. Because they
especially given the matches they previously had. I'll take the rats, I guess, and then we can have a spicy one or whatever, you know.
I've just been handed delicious Chinese food.
I would like to be handed delicious Chinese food. That sounds good.
You should get a better waifu.
You're my waifu.
Yes, and I will never make you Chinese food.
So you're telling me you're not good enough? Normally I'm the self-depreciating one. You're not allowed to take that mantle from me. I hear a blender or a whisk, like a not a blender. God. A whisk that has a motor attached to it. Mixer? What's happening is hot chocolate with whipped cream and maple rum cream, because the whipped cream is being whipped. Grungy Desserts and Chaos Soup and Chaos's Magic, Chaos Subalu and Stouticus. Once again, sort of Nurgle versus Chorf can be awkward. The Nurgle has the sort of better removal potential, and will likely win in that big sort of scrum, because they're going to have similar number of guard, but the Nurgle also have foul appearance regen and more claw mighty blow. The thing that is interesting in this matchup, in my mind, is that it's an especially slow Nurgle team, right? Movement 3, movement 3, movement 5, and Chaos Subalu has that Bull Centaur, right? Discodorf is pretty monstrous. That's high movement against a slow movement Nurgle team, and it is strength 5 blodge, which is, if you can ever get the ball in the hands of that Bull Centaur, the Nurgle is not taking it back from you. It was only down for about a minute. It happens fairly frequently. The OBS just crashes for me, and I'm not sure why. So I just have to restart it, and sometimes that takes a while. Especially, it used to crash inconveniently, right? It would crash but not close, and it wouldn't let me close it, and it wouldn't let me open a new copy of it. So I'd have to restart my computer to fix it. But now it's crashing in a way that just closes itself. So I just start it again. It's very easy. So it's crashing more conveniently now, which is nice. I don't know. I think Chaos Blue could win this one. But I think the way I feel about it is that if I were playing that Nurgle team, I would probably feel okay about this match. So I'm just trying to, I've played a lot of Nurgle. I'm not the best coach in the world, but I would feel reasonably confident about my chances going into this one as a Nurgle team. So
yeah,
I think I'm going to take the Nurgle.
I just trust in strength 5 blotch to win you the day. I think
you kind of have to, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think that most of the time I still feel like the Nurgle will have this. The inducements, the Chorfs do get a wizard out of this, and a little bit.
You probably want to get some sort of bench, given that you don't have much against the Nurgle.
Yeah, and Stouticus is sitting on 40k as well, so he can drop down a little lower.
Yeah. Oh, Chaos Subalu is in Vancouver, according to REBBL.net and the time zones. I knew she was Canadian, but I didn't know that you were a West Coaster. Okay. Then we have Rage Dwarf and Locus. 1990 Dwarves, 2170 Chaos.
Did you just skip Voltrex Vanguard and Volcanoe?
Did I? I did. I don't know why. I saw the clock and maybe that confused me. I don't know. Okay, Voltrex Vanguard and Volcanoe. Voltrex Vanguard get 20k, which is nothing. So no bench for the elves.
Could just come a Babe, which might not be the worst idea, but
no. Given Volcanoe's triple Claw Mighty Blow piling on, I would consider it. We are missing a Bull Centaur, which is, they're fairly important for this matchup because that's how you catch up with elves. The Chorfs are great, but if the elves just leave, they're your movement 4 and their movement 7, movement 6, you can be outranged. Yeah, but I'm not allowed to predict a draw, Subalu. We haven't allowed for that in our game. So that missing Bull Centaur is actually pretty significant. There's no sure hands. I like the elves for this one, I think. Elves are pretty good at taking advantage of like failed rolls and mistakes and that sort of thing. And as long as the Chorfs don't get like just triple removals in the LOS blocks, the elves will just run away and then wait for the Chorfs to, fail a thing. And they only have one real like backup in that Bull Centaur.
I feel. I think this is gonna be a tough one for Ramesset, to be honest.
I think so too, but I think so too, but I think Ramesset still wins it. Thank you for hot chocolate.
It's hot. It's chocolate. It's hot
Ow!
chocolate.
Yeah, ow! God, it's really hot. Don't
It's
grab
hot
them.
chocolate.
It's
Yep.
in the name.
Yeah, but I wasn't expecting to like it burn my fingers from touching the mug, which is like I know mugs have a handle. The handle wasn't pointing towards me. Please give me a break. like the handle is being used by someone else.
This
I
is
couldn't.
Emily's clever ploy to maim you, to make you easier to murder.
But
She's
here,
just,
look. It is hot chocolate and there's little marshmallows and whipped cream and it's full of maple rum cream.
Tell her that I'm on to her Black Widow ways.
Justin says he's on to your Black Widow ways. And you're just trying to kill me with hot chocolate.
I'm gonna kill myself first, probably.
Oh, that was really sad.
What'd you say?
She said, "I'm gonna kill myself first, probably."
Not me with the
Not
hot
like
chocolate.
she meant like with the hot chocolate because it's too hot, but it just came out in a really sad way.
Oh dear.
Thanks, Stacy. Okay, dwarves and chaos. So we do have the insane dwarf back, which is nice. That strength 5 troll slayer is pretty handy. Dwarves can get out strengthed by chaos, and he's going to help out with that a bit. He has armor 7, which is kind of terrifying, and furious dwarf being armor 7 and niggled is also terrifying. And the Dr. Dwarf and Swift Dwarf are also niggled, which is terrifying because of all the Call Mighty Blow that exists. I think this one's going to be hard for Walker.
Call the last one, by the way.
Yeah,
What'd you call?
Ramesset.
Cool. I'm gonna call Volcano. I don't think it's right, but I'm gonna believe in my boy.
Div 1 is terrifying. I mean, high TV dwarves versus high TV chaos. It's kind of hard. Like the quote dwarf weakness is Claw Mighty Blow, right? That's kind of what this chaos team is. 1, 2, 3. I think Unseen Walker can win it. 1,
I mean,
2,
this
3, 4,
weakness
5,
is not
6.
re-rolling 2 seasons ago.
No, that's my weakness. No, my weakness is 3 seasons ago. So dwarves win this matchup by having a bunch of guards stand firm and sort of making the blocks difficult for the chaos. But I think that's going to be hard to do. The chaos have enough guard to match with that. They have enough strength to match with that. They should be able to get removals as long as the chaos removals happen. I think they beat the dwarves here, frankly. However, as we've talked about a million times, Locus often concentrates on removals too hard, so it's entirely possible to like bait out blocks that he shouldn't be making to put him out of position by like exposing a niggled player or something. It's terrifying, but you could probably use that to like help you get position if you really want to.
Well, yeah, like chaos, like we were saying, chaos aren't as bad for dwarves as Nurgle because you're not removing Rotters, you're removing Beastmen, and Beastmen are actually like
valuable.
So
yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, I don't hate Walker's chances here.
I don't, but I think Locus probably wins.
But
Especially with how Walker's armor dice have been going this season. If things continue that way, I feel like they're going to remove a bunch of dwarves, which means he's going to win, as we found out this week in the curse. Luminous and B-Dog, 2030 versus 1870. You're gonna get them KOs, and the KOs won't come back. It'll be fine. So we're missing a vampire, blodge movement, sidestep versus the which is not the worst vampire to be missing against the humans, but having more vampires is nice. Humans get what? 30, 160, so they get a wizard, which is pretty good.
Wizards are pretty good. You heard it here first.
Well, against like it's a relatively like the lightning bolt is as a 2+ to get the ball off a vampire, and then you have recovery options with your catchers. And
I mean, the only problem with the wizard against vampires, in particular against these vampires, is that vampires hate being on offense, and
Yep.
these vampires have plus movement. So Lumi's just going to 2-turn every time.
That's very true. You're not wrong, but like a wizard is a way to force him to make it hard to 2-turn at least once, and if you end up in like protracted offense, that's pretty bad for the vampires. And like the wizard might not necessarily be a way to turn over or whatever, but it might be a way to turn a 2-turn into a harder drive, if that makes sense. And then the humans can take advantage of that, try to punch thralls, let the vampires fail themselves to death a bit. Let's see, ogre. The blitzers are nice. The wrestle catcher, the strength wrestle frenzy catcher, is actually really handy against the vampires. Frenzy wrestle tackle at strength 4 is something that they can actually be a bit annoying for those vampires to deal with.
Yeah. I mean, he's got some good pieces. He doesn't have quite the mighty blow suite he's going to need, I think, to like really take out thralls en masse, but Fudge can do a little bit of work piling on.
This is an interesting one. I think this will be fun to watch.
It'll be fun to watch, but we say that about the vampire games and usually the human games every week.
Well, and yeah, so it's a double interesting because it's both humans and vampires. Boom. Flawless logic.
Not Nurgle and not Chorfs.
Man, I have no idea. Like, I just don't know what to do for this one. Think I'm going to take the vampires, but I'm not very happy about that choice, and I don't think I'd be happy about either choice.
I took the vampires, and I think that they've probably got it.
Stacy and Cullen, for about the 7 millionth time, are playing each other. Cullen is at 1740 if he spends that 50k versus 1960.
Big Nurgle, but kind of also not Big Nurgle, because Stacy's team is weird.
Yeah, well, so it's Big Nurgle, but it's against no bench Chaos that are missing one of their Claw Mighty Blow. One of them is, and one of the other Claw Mighty Blows is Niggle, which is quite a target. So there's more Claw Mighty Blow on behalf of the Chaos for sure. But there's more
warrior, and there's way more strength for the Nurgle.
And there's more bench, like critically. Like, yeah, sure, the Chaos have more removal potential, but the Nurgle don't care about removals for a lot longer. Right? Like, they can take 2 or 3 and still have a full team, and if the Chaos take 1 or 2, there's down players instantly, which is kind of a problem. And yeah, more strength, more guard. I think I like the Nurgle here.
I think that I like Cullen. I think Cullen can pull it out.
Yeah, Attila being out for this one is a pretty big deal, right? So we have a lot of Claw Mighty Blow. Normally we're down to 3, which is still a lot, but it means no bench. This one is going to be a huge target for Stacy to try to take out. If he ever hits the floor, he is getting fouled. The no bench, I think, is the biggest issue, because we can have a Blade of Rotters and there's no Blade of Beastmen.
Yeah, I mean, he could get a bench, but I'm gonna believe in the board here.
All right, cool. Then we have a contentious one. All right, so we REL 2A in what is becoming a very slow recap because we've gotten off track a lot.
Is it?
I don't know. It feels that way. Maybe I'm wrong.
How long? I said I would be ready in 2 to 2.5 hours at 5:30. Yeah, okay, it's going a little long.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it just feels long because I streamed a match right before this. So like
yeah,
I've been on.
I hate doing this where I go immediately into another match, but I just kind of want to this weekend. So.
Okay. So, Not for Science and Onania, Commanders in Grief versus Felvis Coatadal.
Did you see the match report when it came in?
I did not.
Okay, well,
Lord Nathaniel Marr is dead.
he did. He got a Kaz before he went out, though. So
He did. He made it to 299 SPP, not quite the 300. Well, that's a big problem for Falwis Coatadal. Lord,
Is this finally going to be when he rerolls? Is the loss of a human blitzer what finally does it?
I was looking at the age of teams in REBBL the other day. This is one of the few REL teams that's older than me. There's a couple of them, but this is one of the few active REL teams that's older than my Nurgle. They've been around a long time. That's a big one. Like he's such a good piece against other elves, and then you can kind of rely on being an elf to deal with like the bash matchups, but he just ruins elf teams. So that not having him is going to be a pretty big deal for those other agi matchups.
Yep. Good.
Yeah. Level up lineman, guard block, so he's going to get dodge probably. Another leveled up lineman. I mean, I don't know what we take there. Probably just block or dodge or something. Let's go see. Yeah, dodge and wrestle. So yeah.
So yeah, a tie, which is a bit surprising. You don't see Science tie very often. 14 breaks into only 5 removals, so not a heavy removal game. Was fouling going on to bring the removals up to 7, so not trivial. I wonder if I imagine Lord Nathaniel Marr got fouled to death. That man did like to pile on, and it was only a matter of time before his neck got stepped on a little too hard.
Andrew Smaxson levels up from an MVP. The only rookie on the team is no longer a rookie.
Probably takes Mighty Blow there. He's got enough guard, Mighty Blow, to accelerate him a little bit.
I think that's a good call.
Does he agree? Yes, he does.
Yes.
And then we have Self-Hating Dwarves versus Hornstars. Chaos versus Dwarves. Draw. Real unsurprisingly.
Surprise!
I know. Dwarves and draws.
Well, I mean, isn't there a dwarf named something about draws? I don't know.
Long grinding matches is kind of...
Yeah. That's fair. 1-1. 2 Kaz suffered by the dwarves. The chaos suffered 3 KOs and 3 Kaz. So the dwarves doing a bit more work on the chaos than the chaos doing on the dwarves. It was long and grinding, says Minamo. They're short, levels up. Just a blocker, so he's probably going to get Mighty Blow or Stand Firm.
No, there was never one that was called like they always tie or something like that. Just long grinding matches. AV9
is a lie. Picks up a TD. The Blitzer got the TD, which is nice for a level. I wonder what he took there. Actually, I'm not. There's not an obvious answer to me immediately. Tackle. That was my first thought, but I wasn't sure.
Because he's kind of like a tagging piece. Tackle makes sense.
Badly hurts are the only injuries there. Whereas the Chaos took a dead Beastman, but he's a rookie, so that's fine. Bend Over, badly hurt, and Buster Good, also badly hurt. Bend Over's getting close to Legend. 21 is not terribly far away for a Claw Mighty Blow Warrior.
Move 2 Claw Mighty Blow, 1 Claw Mighty Blow piling on, so that's probably why they were able to stay in this one, despite taking a good amount of blocks. There's just not as much mobile Claw Mighty Blow to go around.
Long and grinding, presumably both on their own drive, doing some work, removing some players, getting a touchdown. Yield Guard and Damn Yankees, Trunkhead and Yayo.
Set this one.
A little bit, yeah. Although Trunkhead was missing a number of players for this one, if I recall correctly.
Missing some for the next one, too. Misty Knight, the Witch Elf, the Agi Up Witch Elf, has got an Agi bust, so she is dead.
Ouch.
Yeah, armor bust on a random Lino. Not a big deal, but it was a 5 SPP one, so that's 5 SPP down the drain. Not a great match for Trunk, that's for sure. Yayo removed the hell out of that, perhaps?
6 KOs and 5 Kaz is quite a lot of removals. Yep.
Not a crazy amount given. It's kind of like the 2 Surfs apiece. They were just like going at it.
I do like that. Yeah, so 1-0, not an unsurprising scoreline for a win versus Dark Elves' Nurgle. You know, you're going to win 1-0. If you win 1-0 or 2-1. Those are kind of the options. Apparently they had a lot of fun surfing. No damage taken on the Nurgle. MVP goes to the ball-carrying Pestigore along with the TD. Kaz on the Legend. Kaz and a completed pass on Toast, and a Kaz on
rename your points
Depression.
Steakums, and can I have a refund, please?
They've been named Steakums since you could have points, channel points. They just don't do anything. I've never actually bothered to
And I can modify your emotes.
make rewards. It's all the default ones.
There you go. Steakmittens thinking.
It's going to be a mitten with a finger in it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it just puts like stuff on it. It's not terribly interesting. People often use them for stuff like, you know, make me play a team or like name a character after you or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
I don't think people care enough about my characters or my streams to actually bother.
Cold Cuts versus Abysmal Cuts. We watched that one, and then we're on to Practice Makes Permanent versus the Sterling Hornets. Debt Monkey beating some poor elves to death.
Nice. I like the
Shades.
glasses.
They do kind of cover the perfect portions of the movie.
Why is he called Toast? Never happened. That's a technical difficulties reference for anybody out there who cares. Yeah, we watched that, so we don't need to see that one. Yeah, Debt Monkey and Clown Thulu. 2-1.
Wait, what's a technical? What?
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
Yayo has a player named Toast. If you don't connect that to a thing called technical difficulties, then explaining it is not going to help.
All right, fair enough.
Debt Monkey and Clown Thulu. Oh, we did not see that. Pepperoni got claw. MVP on Pepperoni leveled him and he got claw out of it.
Very nice for this team.
2-1, Dead Monkey, Clown Thulu. 21 armor breaks to 6. 1 Kaz, 1 KO suffered for the orcs, and then the elves suffered 8 KOs and 5 Kaz, including Eldril Sideliner gets MNG'd.
The elves just lost a team.
I mean, yeah, not surprising. Like 6-7 Mighty Blow on this orc team is just a lot of Mighty Blow blocks. Like on average, every block you take is Mighty Blow.
Yeah, it's just a good elf grinder.
Yep, and Elf Grinder is a very particular dating app. And then that's, you know, on defense we have a lot of tackle and Mighty Blow, and on offense we have so much guard it's going to be hard to take the ball from him. A 2-1 grind is kind of exactly how I'd expect this game to go most of the time. We did level a lineman with an MVP, and we leveled Nancy Brew's Mystery, which is a great name for a blitzer. Probably stand firm, maybe. Yeah, just to copy the Disorient Express. Unless you got like a stat or something. He did not stand firm.
That's what he needs, more stand firm. It reminds me a bit of my
I mean, it's like you have strength access, you have block, you've already taken Mighty Blow and guard and tackle. Like, what else do you do? Like, stand firm?
Spam is utterly obnoxious when it works.
Oh, yeah, for sure. How many people have Juggernaut? The answer is not very many.
Yeah. And all you need is that one turn where your opponent only rolls pushes, and then you win the game.
Yep.
Okay. BME losing 1-2 to Logosmani. I believe I called this the other way, and I'm a little disappointed. But I'm disappointed in BME, so that's okay.
I called it for BME as well, yeah. Had the tie and got greedy pushing for the win. As is often the downfall of Bash teams. 30 armor breaks resulted in 5 KOs and 6 Kaz suffered by the Dark Elves. So just a lot of players removed. Probably had the tie guaranteed, you know, like the elves scored or we couldn't stop the 2-turn after we scored on our own drive type thing. And then basically had the tie guaranteed, try to push for a win with a little bit of greed, and it got punished, sadly. No levels for the Chaos. The Elves leveled a lineman who's MNG'd. Blodge is what he currently has. I guess you pray for doubles. Otherwise, you could take Sidestep or something. Dead Loner, Agibusted Loner, So none of the injuries actually matter. MNG line name was a thing, but
he prayed for guard, but he took sidestep, which makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, and it's you're likely to get punished with a player like this existing. Movement 9 plus agi blodge can get quite a bit of punishing done.
Yep.
Hubris Rakarth. You don't see him very often either.
It's true. He's expensive. And weird. Very weird.
Fall and Tech 19.
Tech 19 continuing his win streak as I thought he might. Pulling it out here. Not on the back of a lot of injuries, though he did get some. But he sustained a bit as well, so a bit of a back and forth with the... Oh man, they took out Lurch, one of the flesh golems, and he's MNG'd even. So
Lurch, no. You rang.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just a badly hurt from Hill 488 the second, who leveled up along with a rookie catcher. He picked up... Hill the second took dodge, which I guess makes sense.
He has dodge, so he hasn't picked it yet.
And the catcher took wrestle.
That makes sense. Movement 8 sacker.
Yeah, not bad. Looks like the kind of classic necro are very annoying for agi teams, like hybrid teams.
Yep.
Are just kind of a nightmare.
I mean, one of the wolves gonna Kaz. Right, like it's so.
Oh, the other wolf also rolled agi. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yep. It's a bit hard to get away from the wolves. Like two werewolves are really hard to be safe from, especially when they're agi wolves and can cut corners and that sort of thing.
Yep. Okay, so that's it for this week. Let's do some predictions.
Well, let's look at the leaderboard.
Fine.
Cold Cuts remaining one of the undefeated teams. However, several draws versus the 1 draw and 1 loss of Dead Monkey has Dead Monkey ahead by 1 point. Not a whole lot of a lead, but a lead. Not for Science and Tech 19 in those other 2 spots right now. But Yayo and Trunkhead are within 1 win of tying for second place. So the only person who's more than 1 game ahead right now is Dead Monkey. So a lot of movement that can certainly happen in the top 6. Logo is 1 away from 14, so 3rd place. So top 7 all have a pretty good chance of getting shuffled around over the next couple weeks. Nobody is winless, but Clown Thulu is certainly having a rough time so far. Let's hope things change for him. Okay, Commanders in Grief. Another orc dwarf off, although this time the orcs are slightly less insane.
Still pretty.
They're still really good, but they're slightly less ridiculous.
The theory here, and the theory we have in Clan this week where I'm playing Finns, is that big guard is better than small guard. So I'm going to go with the orcs.
That's sort of how I feel about it. I'm drafting Clan after this, actually.
I was saying in Clan chat that Finns has been sliding into my DMs for 2 years now, but I've never played him. So this will be my first game against Finny.
I have to play him. I get to play him sometime this season. I think it's like literally last. But it's Skaven with good players versus a 3/4 dead Nurgle team. So it's not really going to be a game. But I mean, theoretically, we're playing. Trunkhead and Not for Science. Without Lord Nathaniel Marr, this is going to be quite a different game than it would have been otherwise. Although we are missing Misty Knight as well, like you said, because of the Agi bust. So
yeah, she's probably dead, especially because you've got a new Agi up.
And we have John Rambo, who is Lord Nathaniel Marr, but not but not Agi busted.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have Juggernaut.
That's true.
Which is, not the most important human blitzer skill, but it is a human blitzer skill.
I think I like Trunkhead for this one.
I do too. What are the inducements like? They're the same.
40k.
I like the team that has the Mighty Blow piling of these.
Yeah, otherwise they have roughly similar tools. So A-Green and Minimo, 1950 Chorf, 1810 Chaos. Chorf have a massive bench and now have 4 Claw Mighty Blow? 4
one of them was MNG'd last game, I think, and
The Chorfs have the same amount of Claw Mighty Blow as this Chaos team that is focused on Claw Mighty Blow. Just so we're all aware.
Yeah, you're right. I like the Chorfs.
I think I do as well.
Mighty Mo gets some inducements. He gets a wizard basically, but I don't think it's gonna be enough.
It's a weird one. Normally you'd kind of like the Chaos in this just because of the removal potential, but the Chorfs have a massive bench, so they can eat some of that. Plus they have just as much removal potential. Their strength is they're not lower on strength as compared to other Chorf teams because they have a plus strength blocker. The Dauntless is useful against the Chaos Warriors. Thick Skull is a thing.
I'm just gonna whisper it into the mic.
Yeah, I like the Chorfs as well.
You heard it here first. Shadorra
doesn't have Juggernaut yet, says Trunkhead.
I commented on that minutes ago.
I didn't hear you.
I know.
What did you say?
Therapy.
You said let it be known that, and then stopped.
Oh well, I actually finished. You just again didn't listen. That I'm a fan of Thick Skull. Oh, thank you.
Oh, I mean, it's not necessarily that I didn't listen. It's that when I talk and you talk at the same time, for some reason, your mic cuts out. So I literally cannot hear it.
Yeah, that's true. So we have Practice Makes Permanent and Yield Guard. Big Orc versus smaller Nurgle is not a dynamic you see very often at this division. But might actually be a bit tough for the Nurgle. They do have a good amount of Claw Mighty Blow. But,
I think it's going to be hard for the Nurgle.
They're going to be pretty seriously outguarded. 4 guard to many.
That's really the problem. I mean, Claw Mighty Blow is great and all, but if you can't use it, you can't. It's never going to remove things if you can't get blocks. And the Orcs, they just wait for the right time to commit. Then they commit, and then the Nurgle go, "Damn, how do I get a 2-die against a million guard?" It's just so hard.
It's usually turn 1. But
I mean, maybe like turn 2, depending on how you set up. But yeah, we are terrified this week. We would also be terrified if we were in your shoes.
And then we have Big Chaos versus Big Nurgle.
Big
Usually favors the Nurgle.
Usually.
Down his Beast of Nurgle, which is obviously a big deal in this matchup. And does not actually have that much kill. Only has 1 Claw Mighty Blow with no piling on. Compared to BME's 2 Claw Mighty Blow.
With one piling on.
These are sophisticated gentlemen.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 14 players still, though, for the Nurgle, which is kind of the nice thing.
Chaos have 13, so it's not that bad.
Well, that's true. Okay.
I don't hate the Chaos here.
Neither do I.
But every time I vote for BME, he disappoints me. And much like his father, I'm ready to give up on him, I think.
I'm not. I will take BME. I believe in you. The Beast of Nurgle is a big loss for this one, and like the similar number of bench, but less removal potential. I think is what makes me think about Chaos here. Here We Fall and Sterling Hornets, an elf off for these two coaches for once. Not missing anything crazy important for either team. Man, Belikos Swift is such a good player, but Armor 6 Niggled is terrifying. The Mighty Blow Tackle for Fall is something that I think makes a difference here.
It does, yeah. I mean, Hawk in general is just a good piece. He's niggled, so he's going to have a bit of a... I mean, there's a bunch of niggles on Clown Cthulhu's team. I mean, they both have tackle Mighty Blow, yeah.
Pytho is like, wrestle, tackle, strip ball, leap, but it's not attached to like plus agi, so that's a 3+ leap. And there's actually sure hands on these elves.
No block, though.
That's true, but the block doesn't really matter when there's wrestle.
True. Well, it's not like the elves are likely to be caging up, but yeah. I think I like fall.
That's what I took. A little bit on the combination of Mighty Blow Tackle versus Niggles, and then just kind of crutching a little bit on the table, like the standings. But I'm going to take fall there. Tech 19 and the logo, Monster Bash versus Fragile and Limp. The Necro get inducements here because they're down 20, but they're also 60k over in cash.
I mean, if every game to be down to Flesh Golem, it was this one.
That's very true. And you're not missing the Break Tackle Mighty Blow Flesh Golem. You're missing the Grab Flesh Golem.
Giving away a wizard.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you're down TV and can get a bribe if you drop some cash. This looks pretty good.
I did say that.
This looks pretty good for Monster Bash, I think.
I think so too. I mean, yeah, being down a Flesh Golem here is actually not bad, as you said, but it's also the right Flesh Golem to be down because the other one is more useful, right? If you're only going to have one, that's the one you want for this match.
Yeah, totally. Okay, yeah, I think I like Tech 19 there.
I think I agree with you. The Blitzer is the one wild card there, the movement 9 at G5, but Wolves can keep up with that movement 9. So they can make things a bit awkward, and yeah, we've talked about Necro being a bit awkward for Agi teams in general, so I think I like that as well. Okay, well there we go. This is your 3-second warning before the very bright screen. 1, 2, 3. I had caught up a little bit to you this week, but not a ton. I'm still winning in REL 1 over you, not over BME, sadly. You are now winning in REL 2, no longer tied with BME, but BME is still, like, you and BME are crushing everyone. Locus is catching up. I wouldn't take Locus out of this equation anytime soon, but you and BME are crushing REL 2. And overall, BME is winning. You're catching up, and Locus is a close third, but it's going to take a pretty big swing week for me to catch you at this point, I think. So we'll cut that, and we'll bring up the title screen. Thanks everybody for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed week 8 of REL 1 and 2A reviews. We will be back next week for week 9. How is it already week 9?
It's pretty crazy. It's good though, because I think my team is going to start death spiraling any day now. So
I mean, my team has been death spiraling for 2 seasons.
Created enough of a lead at this point to make playoffs. So.
Like, it just seems so we're already in week 9. It seems so fast. I mean, I've checked out of the season pretty strongly, to be fair. But I kind of enjoy the playoff break. I know a lot of people are like, "Where's my Blood Bowl? I need more Blood Bowl to play." But I really enjoy not having to schedule games just for a couple weeks at a time and just enjoying the community and watching the playoffs and that sort of thing.
Clan, and I still have Beer League, and you still have Imperium. So we still have some things. So it's a lot more back.
Yeah, and so I really enjoy that break period, and it's coming up really fast, which is a bit weird. It just doesn't feel like it's been that many weeks, but that's what COVID and being stuck in your house forever does. The days blend together. I forgot what day it was for a large portion of today. I thought it was Tuesday for 4 hours.
Yeah, and I think week 13 is a double week. So
because Christmas break stuff. Yeah,
week 13 or the first week of playoffs. I don't know how they're gonna slice that. Probably week 13. But
we just mentioned playoffs, and now I can feel the hype slowly building within me for the playoff season.
The playoffs, and then you hate how everyone acts during playoffs.
Yeah, I know. I love watching playoffs, but I hate the Discord during playoffs.
You're just I love enjoying the community, and then you're but I also hate the tryhards ripping other people apart.
Yeah, I do.
They're a complicated beast.
Yeah, it's not easy having these emotions, but it's what we do. I don't know. I like the enjoying the community, but there are aspects of the community that are unenjoyable during playoffs. Is that a better way of wording it?
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure I'll be annoyed at some point, but I'm still looking forward to it. You can look forward to something and still not enjoy aspects of it when it happens. Going on vacation is great, but flying there is kind of terrible sometimes.
True. I won't get to fly anywhere. I'm stuck here for Christmas again. Well, last year was voluntary, but this year is very much forced.
Yeah.
But I did buy some locally made amaretto, so I'm going to make some tasty, cozy, nutty cocktails.
Something about that. That sounds delicious and also weird at the same time.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. We will see you next week. And until then, I'm in Steakmittens.
And I'm
And we will see you then.